What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Raptors Den. The Raptors are opening up their season tomorrow night, so we want to talk a little bit about that. I'm Adam. As always, I'm joined with Junior. Junior, are you ready?
Let's go!
You got to be aware of the inbounder here if you're Philly.
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
All right, Junior. So basketball is back. The NBA is back, and the Raptors are at home at Scotiabank Arena tomorrow night, opening to the Washington Wizards. What do you got to say about it?
It feels like such a short time ago that we were breaking down the NBA Finals, and we broke down the Raptors season, and then here we are. It felt like it's been a year, but it's only been a few months.
Long time. Yeah,
and here we are, and we're at home, so we don't have to talk about Tampa no more, or playing on the road for 82 games because there was no home, and now we're home, and preseason's done, and we're a night away from tip-off, so I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is awesome. So right now, the NBA season is live as of right now. The Nets are at halftime, down 7 points to the Bucks for the first opening game. They get the Warriors-Lakers later on. We want to talk about the Raptors, kind of the preseason. We want to touch on, what our expectations for the season are, who we think are going to lead some of those categories. So stick around with us, hit that like button, comment, and subscribe below. And I think we're going to jump right into it here, and let's start talking Raptors. Okay, so let's talk about the preseason assessment. Junior, what was your thoughts on the 3-2 Raptors in the preseason? Very, very young team. You guys got to kind of see some of these new faces and how they kind of mesh with the team. What were your thoughts there?
Well, I like the fact that Nurse was giving a little more playing time to Scotty. So, he had about 26 minutes a night, which was nice.
Yeah, great.
Point production was right where I think a lot of expected it to be. High single digits, maybe low double digits. But we all knew coming into this that Scotty wasn't going to, be lighting up the score sheet on that side of the ball. Got to see his leadership. I really got to see OG break out of that shell, which I was really excited to see, considering we're talking about him absolutely blowing it up this year.
Absolutely.
And then to see Precious kind of working, in that lane, I was kind of excited to see that and get a good idea of what these rotations are going to look like going forward. What about you?
Yeah, so the same, there's a lot of movement on this team. Obviously, we have one of the younger teams, and I saw today that, we're tied for the most international players on the team, which is incredible to see in the city of Toronto. This team is going to be a very defensive-minded team. So, you mentioned OG, and really he's the guy who's going to need to step up in terms of scoring, especially with Siakam being out with that shoulder injury. So, I thought the preseason was good. It got I don't really care what the necessarily a score sheet was, or us having 3 wins and 2 losses. That really doesn't matter for me. It's more just about kind of getting a tempo to see what this team is capable of. And I saw a lot of energy, which was great to see. And just a lot of movement with bodies and the ball. So I expect them to do extremely well. Surprisingly this season, they're in a tough position where they're trying to keep a reasonably competitive window while developing young talent in this league. We're going to get into it in a moment, talking about the playoffs, but I think what we wanted to do is also just kind of do a quick comparison, looking just really at the rookie comps and how Scotty lined up to that. So I'm going to let you walk us through this next one here, and then give us your take on Scotty and what his ceiling is.
So, obviously he looked really great in 26 minutes he was playing each night. Out of all the rookies in the NBA that were in the preseason, so points per game, he was 13th, assists per game, ridiculously, he led all rookies in assists per game. Rebounds per game, he's 12, blocks 4, steals 12, and minutes per game, he was 6. But the one thing to keep in mind here is that when you look at the top 4 picks, so you're tossing in Mobley, Cunningham, and Green. Green had more points, but also more minutes. Mobley had more rebounds, more blocks, but he's also a center. Cunningham was nowhere to be seen. So when I see that, the fact that he's kind of in the mix, in the middle with all these rookies, and the fact that he's in a system that is going to benefit his style of play, we all know the preseason it's a different beast than the regular season, because once it tips off, all the fun and games, they're over, and it's time to get to work. And I think the one thing that Scotty has said and reiterated several times is that he's ready to get work in, and he's ready to put the work in and progress. So I'm looking for, a lot of people thought that he might, including myself, thought that he was going to start in the G. I think he's impressed so much that he's going to get regular rotation minutes when it comes down to it. So, I like what we've seen from him so far, and I think his ceiling is. I'm not going to say ROI. I'm not. Or sorry, ROY. I don't think he's going to be the rookie of the year. I just think there's a bit more flash out there than him. But in terms of him being first rookie, all team, I think he's definitely there. I could see him averaging 10 to 11 with probably 5 assists and 5 rebounds. You get that out of a rookie, that's absolutely phenomenal for his first year. What do you think?
Scotty, he moves without the ball. He moves towards the ball. He's got big hands. He's got a long reach. This team is, everybody's 6'9" and big and long for the most part, right? So I really like Scotty's ability to, spread the floor, and he's very active, and he brings that energy to the rest of the team. I think you're going to see a lot of great things from Scotty that don't show up on the score sheet, similar to other Raptor greats like, Kyle Lowry, etc., Fred VanVleet, different things that just don't show up on the stat sheet that are going to provide a lot of value for this team. Do I think he's going to get a lot of minutes? I absolutely do. I think he'll get probably 20-plus minutes this season on average. I don't see why that wouldn't be the case. You want to get him that real-world experience with really feeling and getting pressured by some of these larger players and seeing what he can do in terms of mixing it up on the floor on the offensive end, but mostly on the defensive end, which I think for him is going to turn into a lot of offense as well.
So do you think he's going to come out first rotation, or is he
I think, what, as far as I'm concerned with this team, I say go ahead and start Scotty. I don't see why you wouldn't start him and put him in for the first 4 or 5 minutes of a game, let him get that pressure. He's a guy that is not going to crumble. I don't see his mind is tested already. He knows what his assignment is, and he's not going to get down on himself because of a bad play. He's just going to take the energy up higher. So I say get him that experience early in the season. Teams are going to be a little bit rusty. Get those feet real nice and wet for him against some of these larger players in the NBA, and just get him running. I don't see why you wouldn't start him for at least even 3-4 minutes of the game to get
right. I can see that. Most times coaches are thinking about jumping on teams offensively, but I think the mindset of this team is going to be the opposite. It's going to be Nick Nurse employing to jumpstart that D, clamp them down early, keep it close, wear them out. And I think with the looks that this rotation is going to have, that this feeling of that bench mob 2.0, I think that first rotation coming out is going to be huge. I'm liking the makeup of this team. I mean, there's a lot of rumblings out there like, oh, you guys don't have nothing. You guys could use all the help that you need. I mean, I saw that Charlotte cut LiAngelo Ball, and everyone was like, oh, Raptors should get him. They need all the help that they can get. This is a different kind of team. This is a throwback team. This is like a this is like the Detroit Pistons of the late 80s.
This is a lunch pail team, right? I mean, that's totally what it's going to take, because the reality on this team is, as great as we're going to tell what their defense is likely going to look like, I mean, this is going all in on defense in a league that is extremely dominated by the offense, to the point where, average score last year was, or average offensive rating was 112 points, which is the highest it's ever been since Basketball Reference started tracking stats. So, I mean, and that's every 3 years it's been plus 110. So, I mean, who's going to score? Who's going to show up for this team on the scoring side of things? Defense, I don't have a problem with. We play incredible defense already. Nurse knows the system. He knows how to work these teams defensively. We got longer, we got stronger, we got bigger, we got younger. That's more energy. But who's going to score the basketball?
Yeah, you're going to have to look at the guys that have been around for the longest time in Nurse's system. That's going to be guys like Pascal when he's back, guys like OG, who's going into year 5, so he's ready for that big jump in terms of production. You're going to look at Fred, then you're going to look at some of some veterans. I mean,
I think
Precious
Gary
isn't that
Trent
much
has
of a
to really
veteran.
show up once we've got that contract for him. He's
Yeah.
going to be a guy who's going to have to come in and put 16 to 20 points in a game. I mean, he's really got to be proficient in his offense.
He does, and I mean, I think he's shown glimpses of what he can be, but like you said, it's that consistency. He needs to do that night in and night out. Even if that night in and night out is 15 to 16 points, that contribution still needs to be
That's
made
huge.
every night.
I think you're going to see a lot of guys on this team that are in double-digit scoring, which we're huge fans of. You know, we don't need someone to come out and put up 30 points. We need 7 guys to come out and put 12 to 15 points.
Exactly.
That's what's going to win basketball games, I think, for us, especially if we're going to be heavy-handed on the defensive end of things. We wanted to break down kind of where we thought some of these players were going to land in some of the categories. So why don't we take a look at that? So let's start with the points per game, if you're okay. So we got OG here. We're projecting him about, just under 20 points. Fred at 12.5, Precious at 12.5, Gary Trent Jr. 11.8, and Malachi Flynn at around 11 points. And you got your rest of your team kind of contributing, a handful of points here and there.
Yeah, I mean, so this is the preseason scoring averages. So this is exactly how the leaders were. So if you were to look, I think. I don't know if Malachi is going to get that kind of rotation time where he's going to get double digits every night. I think if you flip his point production with Scotty, I think 11, 12 points for Scotty is very doable.
Definitely. Especially in and around the basketball, right?
Yeah.
Or in and around the rim.
But I think, if we were to look at – so OG averaged about 19 and change in the preseason. I'm a bit high on him this year, and we'll get into that a bit later, but I could see his point production being up from that. Fred, obviously not as much playing time, and his numbers are going to be up that 20, low 20s. Precious is going to be up there too because he's got free reign right now. So I mean, potentially you could have 3 guys in the 20s every night, and when you get that done, and you got a bunch of guys in the teens, mid-teens, low teens. You got to remember, this isn't going to be a score where it's 135 to 98. This is going to be a knock them down, drag them out, 98, 97, 100 to 94. Like, it's going to be some low-scoring basketball, which I think is going to frustrate a lot of teams that are trying to push that tempo. I mean, you talked about the scoring and the offensive ratings. I mean, I can't remember a season where, you're seeing 3-4 games a night that are going into the 130s.
Oh, exactly.
Like, I can't remember that. I mean, obviously, people are shooting threes a hell of a lot more than they have been over the last few years, and a lot of guys are getting really good at it. But this isn't going to be that type of thing. They're strong wing defenders, strong point guard defense, very big wing defenders. Right? So you're not going to get guys that are going to let you shoot that three. These guys are going to get in your face. Scotty's already shown that he's got that ability to knock down those threes when you're trying to hit them. He's going to get up in the air, and he's going to do what he's got to do. So, these are going to be low scoring games, but I think the point production will still be where it needs to be.
Something to consider too is that new rule where you can't be faking those shots on the 3-point line so much and getting to the line. I think that's going to change the game dramatically as well.
Oh, for sure.
Because people are going to
take more liberties.
You know what I mean? So that's going to be. I think it's going to benefit the Raptors because we don't have that issue. So that's going to help us out. Let's look at assists per game. So Scotty 5-6, Freddie with 5, Banting with 3, SVI with 2, and then Utah with 2.
The Utah Raptor. Surprised that Scotty led the preseason on this team in assists. I mean, obviously Fred was right there with 5, but we all know that Fred's going to be up there close to 8-9 a game. If Scotty can stay at about 5 and keep that facilitation going, and then you got OG, chipping in with 3 or 4, they're going to share the basketball. This is the team that's going to look for the best available shot to be taken. So whether that's going to be that mid range or dumping it down to Precious or Boucher. They're going to look for the best shot, and they're going to be patient with their possessions. So they might not have a high possession rate, but they're going to have an impactful possession rate.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the Raptors are going to, just being so big, long, and strong, I think these guys are going to bring back a lot of the inside game. I think it's going to be, and I think that's where a lot of assists are going to come. You're going to see cutters coming from the outside as the ball goes inside. And you're going to see these wing offensive guys come on in for easy dunks, quick little layups, little mid-range jumpers. they're just so big. You know, a lot of other teams are going to have challenges with us, and yeah, we don't have maybe those those people that we're expecting for Kawhis or Kyles who are going to put up 30 points a game. But I think it's just going to be an overall great team effort. Let's take a look at rebounds here. So Precious 8.6, Yuta 7, Champagne 5.8, Scotty B with 4.8, and OG with 4.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, no surprise here that Precious was grabbing almost 9 boards a game. I really like the step up that Yuta had over the preseason. I think he's really showing that he's progressed in what he's been doing over the last little while.
Absolutely.
I think also, the Olympic tournament helped him realize where his skill level can be, and he's pushing himself a bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, those are good rebound numbers. Obviously, they're going to probably increase a little bit more. I think, Precious could be almost along the lines of like a DeAndre Ayton, where he's going to have 15 and 10 every night.
Love that.
That's exactly what we need.
And with Scotty helping him out there too, that's only going to increase both of their numbers if one guy's boxing or et cetera, right? So
100%.
You're going to see those guys easily combine for 20 to 20, maybe to 30 rebounds per game.
Yeah, and you have to remember when you've got guys that are going to drop down into help defense for a guy that's in the lane, those block shots are going to go up big time because you've got 3 defenders down there that are just so damn long. Yep. And then even when point guards are going to try and pull centers up, for those pick and rolls, these guys can fight through that because they're so long and agile. I don't know. I guess I'm really high on how this team has been built. So I don't know. Maybe making me a bit of a homer here, but this team's been built really well for what we were able to do. I mean, some of it was a little bit of piecemeal towards the end of free agency, but I think this is a really well-rounded team.
Okay, let's take a look at steals right here. Precious, Gary Trent, Champagne, OG, and Freddie.
Those are pretty good average of steal numbers. I mean, when you're talking about a per game average there through the preseason, that's like 6-7 steals a game.
Yep.
That's big. I mean, that's the defense, right? That's guys with active hands in the passing lanes, guys that got their hands up on shots. Those are guys that are trapping, dribbling defenders and getting all over them and just forcing bad passes. So again, it's just a reiteration of this fact that this team's been built on the defense, and these numbers are just they're gonna look really crazy once the end of the year starts.
I could see the Raptors having, or being in the top 5 in steals in the league by the end of the season. A lot of active hands, again, a lot of young guys. Energy bodes well for this team and this system, and how Nurse is going to want to push the envelope with these guys, especially in transition offense. It's going to be huge.
High motors.
Yeah, we're going to need those quick, easy baskets again, just for somewhat of a lack of just pure offensive talent on any given night. But again, that can change, right? If OG is who we want him to be, who we expect him to be going forward, and Freddie, and those guys are consistent, I don't think offense will be as much of a challenge as we think.
I mean, okay. Right now we're looking at this team without Pascal on it because obviously he's not going to be there to start the year. But I mean, when he's back, and it's not like he's not coming back. He's ahead of schedule. He is coming back.
Don't rush him. Take the time.
No, take the time. Let this team gel. Let it mesh. Let it do what it's got to do. Give OG some of the workload. Get him his confidence built, because I'll tell you, the stuff that I was watching him do in the preseason. Like, he was going into a bag. Before, he wasn't. He would shy away from things. The guy's going into a bag and putting up a 3 right in guys' mouths now. So I like that he's a little more aggressive. I think that's that year 5 thing. You see it with a lot of guys. They hit that year 5, and you're either plateauing or you're excelling. And I think OG is that guy that's going to start excelling. So when you get Pascal OG, you're talking about guys that are going to get in that 20 to 25 range. Fred's going to be low 20s. I think Precious, with the way the system is going to work, he's going to be in the 20s. That's 4 guys right there. You're looking at 80, 90 points. So I don't think it's going to be an issue getting those guys to those points. It's just going to be shutting them down. And we already know the defense is going to be pretty stout. So again, I'm still liking the offensive potential. And people don't remember, but this is a team that can push the transition very quickly. We're not a team that's going to just, go in half-court offense. No, we're going to run. We'll push you. We'll run.
Both Freddie and Malachi both like to run.
Exactly.
They like to push the envelope.
And OG loves to get down there too. So you've got a bunch of guys that are going to push the offense on you too. So again, I think that this is okay, obviously Kyle's not here no more. We got no Kawhi. Everyone, the Raptors. The Raptors are going to be a phenomenal team this year.
Yeah,
just wait and see.
I agree. Okay, let's talk about the expectations then. So, coming to this team, we don't have Pascal to start up the season. This team is Freddie's to run at the point now in the absence of Kyle. What are your expectations for this season? What is that record going to look like? How are you going to vote against the rest of the teams that are in the East?
So the East
how are we going to match up to Brooklyn even without Kyrie?
That's
or Milwaukee.
Like Milwaukee we can match up with. I just think Brooklyn doesn't have enough supporting cast to match up with a team like Milwaukee. Yeah, those guys great starters, but they don't have much of a bench. The bench is aging. It's not very athletic anymore. I don't like the pickups they had. The fact that Kyrie's not going to be there, and the weird stuff that's going on around that. I mean, a guy reports that he's retiring from the game, and that it's just a mess. Anyway, too much high expectations in Brooklyn. I think a team like the Raptors, because there aren't high expectations. In fact, the expectations are very low for this team this year in terms of the public look at them. I think that they're going to wear that underdog shirt real well, and they're going to put that on the bulletin board. We're underdogs, and they're going to wear that as a badge, and they're going to fight every game. You can see the gap closed a bit with Boston. I don't think Boston's that far ahead of us anymore.
Agree.
I think with the emergence of OG, his defense is starting to get a lot better than it was before when it was already good. I mean, this guy had one of the highest, per possession defensive ratings in the league over the last few years. So that's just going to increase even more. I think Freddie is a very stout defensive point guard. I think he's going to get stronger there as well. So, I mean, there might be 4 or 5 teams that might be a little more competitive. So, I mean, if you were to look Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Boston,
Miami,
yeah.
I think Miami is going to be an extremely dangerous team in the East.
Definitely, because they still have that defensive prowess, and now
I think they could be maybe the best team in the East. I'm going to go and say that I think they might end up very, very near the top, if not maybe the first seed.
What was the one thing that was missing from them was the facilitation, and they just got that.
I mean, Butler's going to be freed up. I mean, they're going to be a real issue.
Yeah, especially if
Tyler Hero shows up also, then they're going to be even better if he showed up like he did in the bubble.
And piece of advice to Hero is stop talking about who you should be included, your name should be included with, and just go out and show them where you belong. Yeah, you guys are retarded. Ridiculous what he was saying. Anyway, I'm going to I might exceed my expectations a bit on this team, and I think we're probably a 5-6 seed.
Okay, I like that. I mean, I think this is definitely a team that has the ability to compete for a playoff position for sure.
There's 45 wins.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of juggling going on still. With Philly, so I don't think they're really going to have their head in the game.
No.
This season, maybe at all, and then if Ben Simmons goes and whatever that ends up happening, I think the Raptors look really good just in terms of overall matchups for most of the teams in the East. And I don't see us having an issue garnering a playoff spot.
I mean, I'd maybe mention Philly. I think until that Ben Simmons saga is solved, I think it's going to be a complete distraction. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, when Embiid was like, "Oh no, the team was built around Ben," Ben took a lot of attention away from Embiid. Tobias Harris didn't. No one else in that team did. Ben took a lot of attention, a lot of focus away from Embiid, allowed him to do what he needed to do. Mm-hmm. So now when you can key in on shutting Embiid down, we've seen it happen before. You shut down Embiid, there's no one else that's going to put the rock up. And I don't think Tobias Harris is going to average 40 to 50 a night to keep that team in game.
Embiid was in the MVP conversation last year before some injuries kind of sidelined him for that. But Embiid said he was over it today anyways. It's not my problem. We're not here to babysit, etc. Let's talk about our players to watch on the Raptors. And I'm going to go first here. So my player to watch is it's very simple. There's a huge void in the team. And this man needs to step up and fill that void. And he's no other than Fred VanVleet, right? I mean, look, Kyle Lowry is the greatest Raptor of all time. There's no doubt about that. There's no conversation to be had. He put his body on the line, did so much stuff that did not show up on the stat sheet. Heart and Freddie's that same guy. It's just whether or not now all the chips are on his shoulders in terms of carrying this team and being that true leader that we expect. And I think he's up for the challenge. This is an undrafted NBA player who's won a championship now. He's been brought up through the G League, through Kyle, and this is his team. This is his team to run. I think he's going to fill that void that we have with Kyle exiting and going to Miami, which I'm very happy for him to be there. He looks like he's having a great time already, and he's my player to watch because I'm expecting 20-plus points and 8-plus assists from Freddie in 30-plus minutes.
I mean, a lot of people, forget what this guy did in the playoffs.
He's a beast
during that run. When this guy's on, he's deadly. And I think now that he has that free reign, we could see the flashes of the not even glimpses, but the extended flashes of his brilliance on the court and running the team and distributing the ball. And even limited time in the preseason, you can really see that Fred's trying to push OG to that next level. And I think guys like OG and Pascal are going to spill off a lot because of what Freddie's doing. Guys got great court vision, crisp passes. Guys got a dribble. He's pretty accurate.
He's got range too. He's got lots of range.
And he likes to mix it up. He likes to get down and dirty like Kyle does. So he's going to go in and he's going to draw those charges. I mean, it might not be as prevalent as Lowry would be doing in the open floor.
Guy's like a league leader almost every year.
Yeah, but you're gonna see that toughness come out of Freddie because he's tough. He's a junkyard dog just like Kyle Lowry was. So we'll see a lot from him.
They're cut from the same cloth, and that's why it's important to see that from him.
So he's a young Kyle Lowry. So I mean,
100%.
Can't go wrong with that.
No.
For me, I just mentioned his name, but it's OG. I mean, when we look at this guy's progression from 2017 to now, every year his point production's gone up. First year, 2 points. Second year, 3 points. Third year, 5 points. Last year was 5 points. So the way things are going, it's almost doubling every year.
Yeah.
So we should see another 10 points on top of that. Talked about his defensive rating, one of the highest defensive possession ratings in the league. I'm looking for him to take that year 5 step to that next level. We put out a video about how he could potentially be the scoring leader of the NBA. And I do believe that. I don't know if it's going to be, he has the potential to get there, but I can see him in the mid-20 range with, his 3-point shooting has gotten a lot better, a lot crisper. He's not making mistakes, which means he's going to get the minutes, and there's not going to be much to do about that. He'll get his 30 minutes a night, which is going to leave him in the position to score the basket, and his field goal percentage has gone up, and everything's gone up every year. So this next year in the progression, I'm looking 20 to 25 points, probably 5 to 7 rebounds in that range, and we'll probably see a little bump in his assists going up to maybe 3 or 4. We get that out of him. You're talking about MIP potential.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of where I see the trajectory of OG this year.
Yeah, I like OG a lot. I think I like the fact that he's quiet. He wants to come and he just wants to go to work and he just wants to prove himself on the court. So I know that there's an inner desire within him that just wants to, deliver on what the expectations are of this team. And now he has the opportunity to do that, right? Pascal's out. It's him and Freddie who are going to be running most of the show in terms of point production and, back and forth and leadership within this team. It's going to be great to see, that all kind of come together, and seeing the progression of these guys. I mean, OG is a player that teams have been after for years now. They've been hunting this guy. They're trying to put him in every trade deal that you can imagine. When
because they made a mistake not taking him back in 2016.
This is the thing, right? They want him there, and there's a reason for that, right? And we're at what, year 5? Did we say for him? So
year 5.
This is the turning point, right? He got paid. This is the time now for him to really prove his value to this team and this organization, and really start dominating the basketball. And I think he's going to do just that. So I'm very excited for that. Okay. Are the Raptors a playoff team? We kind of talked about it a little bit, but where are they going to land? And will they be able, more importantly, will they be able to compete in the playoffs? Getting to the playoffs and losing the first round, that's no fun for everybody. So will they be able to compete in the playoffs?
I definitely think they will, but I will say this. You have to remember that this is not a veteran team. So I think losing in the first round, it's not as detrimental as it was years before.
Absolutely not. No, I'm not saying that, it's championship or bust with these guys.
No, exactly. I mean, even Masai is trying to play down the expectations of the team, saying we're not a team of now. And I think they are. They're just going to get better. They're going to be a team of now, tomorrow, and the next year, and the year after that. But I can see them kind of in that 5 seed, playing a Boston in the first round, or a Philly in the first round, or we could be dead wrong and they could just sneak in the 8th spot and end up playing Brooklyn in the first round, or you still got Atlanta there too. So there's the East is real heavy and the road is very hard. But when you play defense, boys and girls, you win championships, because defense wins championships. And when you have an offense that is going to transition off of your defense, the offensive side just comes so much more easy. So again, I could see them upsetting someone in the first round, being a higher seed. But again, I do see them in the playoffs. I see them competing a round or two, kind of in that range. I think would be a huge win. Obviously, anything further than that is a huge win. But I mean, they made the playoffs. That's a big win. I think it's a big win for this young team.
Yeah, the good thing about this team, what the Raptors have going for them, is, in a lot of ways, this is a team of role players. Everybody's got to play their role. They have a role to play. Do that, and we're going to be successful. And I think with not having the pressure for 1 or 2 guys to deliver so much to the team, and everybody knowing that they have to do a job, and if they just do that job, they're going to be successful. I have no issue with this team making the playoffs. I think it's going to be not an easy road. I'll project them probably around 42 games, maybe 43 games win this season. But I think they will make the playoffs. I think it'll be a lower seed, and we'll probably face a relatively difficult team in the first round. That's not to say that experience isn't great. It's going to be great for a lot of these guys who haven't had the opportunity to play in the playoffs or play for and figure out what some of these guys are made of. So I'm very, very excited. I think the East has gotten significantly more competitive. Not that the West has really lost anything. I think this league is just very, very competitive right now.
No, it totally
we haven't even talked about Chicago. Chicago got exponentially better.
Forgot about the Knicks too.
The East is a problem. There are a lot of guys who know how to play the game of basketball.
Well, the balance.
Even Charlotte, who knows what Melo's going to do this year with the full season under his belt?
Indiana's still there too.
These teams are here to play, and the West hasn't moved an inch. So
no, the balance of power is in the East now, wholeheartedly. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But the one thing I will kind of finish up on is just to talk about Scotty very quickly. When you look at the position he's in right now, he got picked 4th overall. Obviously, some people are still pissed off about it. Jalen Suggs.
I couldn't be more happier with picking Scotty.
After
all that we've seen, I'm sure that every Raptor has turned around and said, so glad that we picked up Scotty instead of Suggs. I haven't heard one person say otherwise.
No. But when you look at Cade, he's in Detroit. Detroit's not going to be competitive. You look at Green, he's in Houston. Houston's not going to be competitive. You look at Mobley in Cleveland. He's not going to be competitive. You get Scotty on a team that is a winning team. They had a bad year. took a lot of steps back, a lot of things at play there. But we all know that winning breeds winning.
Mm-hmm.
When you win 12 games in your rookie year, you hit a mindset. Doesn't matter how strong mentally you are, but when you win 12 games, that's tough. And those 3 guys ahead of him are in that territory. 12, 15, 16, 17 games. That's tough. So we're lucky, and I think for Scotty's career, progression, he got lucky coming here because of the fact that this team is managed very well, great development. So I think in terms of, you look at the top 4 picks, he might have the steepest progression in terms of a career than the guys picked before him, for sure.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, you look at the other Raptor players around him, there's not a lot from that 2019 championship team, really, Siakam and Freddie and OG kind of coming together. They know what it's like to win. They have that taste. They have that thirst for winning. They're not coming out of a team that's not competitive, that hasn't been competitive, that hasn't been in the playoffs in the last 10 years, every year. The Raptors are a different team. We're an organization of winning. The first thing Masai said when, Scotty, they FaceTimed right after he got picked was, remember what we talked about? Winning. Mm-hmm. Winning. It's not about anything else. We want to win in this city. Our players want to win. We want to win as fans. And Scotty embodies that winning mindset. He is there to work. He is ready to go.
Get ready, because tomorrow that place is going to be lit ablaze.
Oh, my God.
It will be the loudest it has ever been tomorrow night.
100%.
And every NBA team knows coming into this floor, on that floor, in that stadium, in that arena, you don't want to be there because we are loud, we are proud, we are vocal. So Raptors fans, bring it tomorrow.
We're an incredible home team as well.
Yeah.
So we're coming.
Fortunately, I couldn't get tickets, but anyway.
That's okay. Okay, that's going to wrap for us. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button. Let us know what you think below. What we missed, and we'll be back with the Raptors Den more frequently. We got some big things brewing. We'll keep you posted on that as things develop. So thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Hit that subscribe button as well and share this stuff to the network, because we're going to be back every week at least, breaking down what the Raptors have done. So go Raps, go. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, I believe. And that's against the Wizards. Then they're at Celtics, then Mavericks on Saturday. All right, so for everybody here at Offside and Out of Bounds, I'm Adam.
I'm Junior, and we're gonna see you real soon.